All right, so draw a mapping. That is the thing with the circles, and you don't repeat them. So for the x's, we're going to have -2, 3, 4, and -1. And then for the y's, we're going to have 1, but I'm only going to write it one time. -3, -4. How did that go? Did we get those written in there okay? Don't repeat the 1. You're just going to have 2 arrows that go to it. So it's going to look like that. And then 4 goes to -3 and -1 goes to -4. Go ahead. When you list out your domain and range, they need to be written smallest to biggest. Here, it doesn't really matter, but if you put them smallest to biggest, you went above and beyond. So very good. Okay. So that's all we had to do for that one. Here, we're going to create a table and a mapping. So a table is going to look like this. A mapping, again, is going to be the thing with the circles. And we're looking for pretty points. Now, there's really only 3 of them that you can find on here. I'm just going to like bold them. Can anyone tell me what these coordinates are though? Like what's this first one? Because you have to figure it out yourself. Good. -3, 3. So I'm going to put that on my table. Anybody else tell me the second one? Yep. 0, 4. Good job. And then the last one, 3, is it 5 or 5? Good. None of those repeat. So basically you're just going to put them in here in your mapping and draw your arrows. That's all that is. So it's just practice doing all the different ways you can represent a relation. Okay. And so here I left you the most space because we're going to do all of them. So we're going to draw a table and a mapping and a graph. So a graph is going to look like this. We're not going to connect the points. It's just going to be this like constellation of points here. So don't connect them. That's the big thing. Don't connect them. All right, so let's get our points and just copy them into the table. 5, 3, -2, 1, 5, -4, 1, 2. Do you notice I did repeat the 5 in the table? You with me here? If you don't repeat it, one side of the table is going to be longer than the other, and it's going to be lopsided. All right, now when I go and write them into the mapping, you don't repeat them. So just write it one time. You'll just have 2 arrows coming off of that one. So 5 goes to 3 and 5 goes to -4. And then -2 goes to 1, 1 goes to 2. So sometimes it ends up looking a little sloppy because the arrows are across each other, but that's just kind of the way that is. Oh, let's review the quadrants. Hey guys, 5, 3, which quadrant's that going to go in? 1, good. And then -2, 1, which quadrant is that going to be in? 2? 5, -4, which quadrant is that going to go in? Which one? 4, good. I'll be down here. And 1 to quadrant 1. Again, don't connect them. Follow-up question, because we're about ready to do this on the next page. Is that a function, yes or no? Why is it no? Good. 5 goes to 2 numbers. So you have 2 y values for 1 x. How did that go? Did you check yourself? Fix it if it wasn't right? Did you get a lot of it right? Okay. Go ahead and flip to the next page. I'm going to pause the recording. And again, I want you to just take a couple minutes and try this page, and then I'll go over it for you. All right. State domain and range. So here's domain. Here's range. You have to show me that you know domain is x and range is y. So this is going to be x equals. This is going to be y equals. And you want to try to put the numbers in numeric order. So what order did you put the x's in? Good. -2 is like the most negative. And then, good. -1, 3, 4. Cool. Then we're going to list out the y numbers. You don't repeat them. All right. What is the most negative out of the y numbers? Good. -4, -3, 1. Just don't write it twice. How did that go? All right. We're going to do the exact same thing for this one. So just practice it again. Domain is going to be x equals, range is y equals. Don't repeat them. So domain would be -2, comma 1, comma 5. Did you have that correct? What you should be doing is watching and making sure you should look up here and then look at your paper. Look up here and then look at your paper. All right, range. The most negative one is the -4. And then 1, 2, 3. Do you feel like if I handed you the test, you could do that right now? List them out. Good. X equals and Y equals. All right, now when you come over here, do you see how there's arrows on the ends? Like it's not just 4 random dots anymore. Do you see how it goes forever? Anyone? Are you with me here? The arrow means goes on forever. So they're both going to be all reals. Again, make sure you put the X for domain and the range is going to be Y. Right? For this one, what is the only number you're getting for the domain? What is the only X number that there is here? 2 is it. It's just X equals 2. What is your range though? Since it goes upwards and downwards forever, what is your range going to be? Yeah, all reals. And just make sure you put Y. So you should be looking up here and then at your paper, and then looking up here and then at your paper. Hello? And then looking up here and then at your paper and making sure that your answers are right. So I should see your eyes moving. Okay. Yeah, but you need to like stay focused. So that you're just staring off into nothing. All right, this is gonna just be 4 random points. Domain X equals. So you should have -3, -1, 1, and 3. And then can you guys tell me what's our range? Y equals, yeah, -2. I'm going to put them in order, smallest to biggest. So -2. Then what? Hello back there. After -2, what's the next one? 1, good. And then 4. Do I write it once or do I write it twice? Once. You don't repeat it for the mapping and for whenever you're writing out domain and range. Do you guys understand the difference between a line which has arrows and just random dots? All right. So domain and range for this one, you had one exactly like this on your quiz. I know it looks like the arrows are pointing down, but are they going to go left and right forever? Yes, it's going to spread out forever. So what is your domain? Yeah, all reals. Domain is everything. Hey guys, look. What Y value does this stop at? 5, good. Do you want everything above 5 or everything below 5? Below. So you're going to write Y is what? How do you show that you want everything below 5? Less than or equal to 5. Do you remember the one that was just like that on your quiz? It's exactly like that. Remember I was playing Kahoot and then I made up like a billion more of it like that to practice it with you? It was only a week ago. All right, number 10. Given Y equals -4x plus 1, find the domain if the range is these numbers. Hey guys, if we're given the range, are these numbers X or are these numbers Y? Good, those are your Y values. We're gonna use our calculator and all I need for you to do is look. Are you ready? I'm gonna share my screen. This is actually what we were doing the last time. So I'm gonna put in, what is it? Y equals, you guys read it to me. Just look at your paper. I need to make sure you're like looking and following with me. It's Y equals what? What's the equation? Good, -4x plus 1. Do you guys see that? And do you see how I put a line right here? Now I'm going to come down to the next line. We said these are our Y numbers. So I put Y equals. What's the first one? -3. Right here. Do you see where they intersect? What's our first number? 1. Write that down. X equals 1, comma. All right, now let's go back and do the next one. What's our next Y number that they gave us? 5. Where am I going to click to get my answer? Good. What's our next number? -1. Good. Now I'm going to go and change this. What's the last one? 9. Do you see how sometimes you have to move the graph to find it? All right. What's that last one? -2. All right, so here, can you tell me what they were? So I can write it on my paper. What was it? -2. Okay, good job. All right, so look at the last one there. Given this function, it says find the range when the domain is these numbers. Hey guys, if this is the domain, is it X or is it Y? It's X. Are you guys with me here? Yeah. Domain means X. So I'm going to share my screen. All I need for you guys to do is look. Just look. What am I going to type into the first box? It's Y equals what? Just read it off your paper. 4x squared, good, squared plus 7. Okay, now give me that answer. What did you say? What are we going to type into the next one? Yeah, but what equals -3? X equals, you got to pay attention because one is one way and one is the other. X equals -3. Now I'm going to have to come up here to find the intersection. Do you see I'm having to search for it a little bit? But there it is. What's our first number? 43. All right, now just watch. I'm going to erase that -3. What's the next one? -1. Now I'm going to have to come back down here. Do you see how sometimes you have to move the graph? That's okay though. Look, I found it. -1, 11. So put comma 11. All right, what's the next one? 0. That's right here. I clicked on it twice, so it wrote it twice. But our next number is 7. And then what's the last one? 3. 3. I'm going to go all the way back up here. See, sometimes you have to move the graph. All right. What does 3 give us? Are you going to write it again? No, you only write it once. You don't repeat for the domain range and the mapping. Did you write Y equals for those? Open your eyes, Cody. Did you write Y equals for those? Why did we put Y equals? They gave us domain and we found range.